Hey, good afternoon. My name is Vincent from Diamond Peaks, and together I'm here with my buddy Idan Velleman, my co-host, and a special guest today. We have Wouter Kloosterman. And hi, Wouter.
Thanks for
How are
having
you
me
doing?
today, Vincent. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing great, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Why are you doing great? What's so great?
Because our NFT marketplace is going live in a bit more than a month, so pretty exciting time. We have been building the NFT marketplace since August last year. So yeah, we are really excited for the upcoming time. So
Yeah, and that is outtake.io, and we're going to talk about the NFT market. So the first thing we're going to do is share some news of the week. And because Wouter is our guest, I think it will be very nice to have him start. And that is here, outtake.io. These are the three master brains behind the platform, which is going live next week. And a little bit, in a half an hour, about 20 minutes, we're going to talk in depth about the NFT market. Okay, what's your news, Wouter?
well, first of all, what we have been seeing last year is that the metaverse is growing really big. So maybe it was nice to start with a new NFT project from Nike. They just released their new kicks. Maybe you can show them a picture of the new sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the sneakers was actually sold for more than $100,000. And people are asking me all the time, so how can a digital asset like this have that much value? Well, I think because our
Like
whole world.
everybody continuously asks that about the NFT market. Why does this digital assets, which can be copied without a problem and which ownership is hugely problematic, why does it
Yeah.
have value? Yeah, so
Well,
tell us.
we are already spending like the half of our day online. So I think it's really logic that digital assets will get value as well. So I
Okay.
think especially now with NFTs, where you can apply ownership to digital assets, I think it's because it has a scarcity now. I think it's a really yeah, it's a next step for our technology to
Yeah.
give these assets value.
Okay. Well, if the big guys like Nikes are starting, that's going to be really interesting. We're going to get into that more. What other news do you have?
Yeah, there was something really interesting going on last week. Actually, a student from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, he sold his own soul as an NFT, and it was sold on the primary market for 330 euros. But now the buyer of that NFT is selling it on the secondary market for $3 million. It hasn't sold yet, but yeah, he's pretty confident it will. So I'm curious
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I looked into this student. This student is from the Art Academy. So he basically has made a beautiful design of his own face, which is an inspiration on some Disney movie. And so the first buyer bought 350, bought it for 350 euros. So if it then is sold for 3 million, if somebody does that, how much money? How is that money divided up?
Well, it's sold on 0%, so that will mean he gets 300k if it got sold for 3 million. So it's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, so we didn't hear that because your internet is problematic because I think they're building in your street, right? And
Yeah, that's
but you said if it's sold for 3 million, he gets 10% automatically in his wallet. So that's the nice thing about NFT.
that's correct.
If it's resold, the original owner gets a certain percentage. Is that always 10%, or is that just depending on the platform like OpenSea or
No, it's
Super
depending on
Rare?
the platform. For example, on our platform, the artist can choose between 0 and 12.5%. So it really depends on the platform.
Okay, yeah, it's just a smart contract which is built in. Okay, interesting.
Exactly.
So that's nice. So Idan, I am in a very bad mood about this goddamn market. Last week we had a lot of fantastic, interesting news. Really, everybody's using crypto. There's all kinds of wonderful news about Lightning, about Ethereum going to proof of stake. But the market went to hell anyway this week. And tell us about why is that?
Yeah, hi Vincent. Indeed. So we see like what we see in the last couple of weeks. We see on one end, we see market, the overall economy is very shaky. We see that yesterday the GDP figures from the US from Q1 came.
Negative.
The first time we're negative 1.4%. And next to the fact that we already have high inflation, and we are expecting that next week the Fed in the US will increase the interest rate in 50 points, 0.50 points. We have also a war that doesn't help us with the commodity price. We have supply chain problems. We have lockdown in China. So it's the perfect storm. And you know, and crypto is not a thing here the last couple of weeks. It just suffers from all of what's happening in the global economy, and that's a shame. And we just need to go through that. We need to wait until it is a very volatile and very shaky week. We knew that's going to happen. We know it's going to be volatile at least until the Fed next week, 4th of May, is coming with the decision, and more importantly, what they're going to say about the future. So we expect they do 0.5. That's not going to be a surprise anymore. The question is, what is their outlook? Are they going to continue with this hawkish approach, or are they going to be a little bit more, we're not going to take it as far, because we are a little bit of concerned of and afraid of recession. So that's a little bit the market. Let's look at what we see in Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to go sideways.
First, let's go to the fear and gear index, and you saw that it just went down a couple of points, but it's a miserable space. So consumers don't have any trust, and it only is going down, not going up. And I get very frustrated about it. But a lot of people who know a lot more about trading than me, they say, these moments you basically put the base for your money. This moment you decide what positions you take in, and you make your money in the bull market, but you really earn it in the bear market. I mean, it's also always much better to buy the dip, and we're definitely in the dip. Yeah. So how is that market at the moment?
We see in Glassnode as well. I didn't bring this week a Glassnode one, but we see that the whales are buying. So there is a lot of accumulation for the big investors, for the one who are used to capitulate when the pricing are high, and we see that the retailer is doing absolute nothing. And I mean, I saw yesterday one of the YouTube said you could see it because no one's watching YouTubes anymore. When the market is bull, then everyone's going to immediately to learn about crypto and to watch all those podcasts and all those YouTube shows. No one is looking into it. The market for the retailer is really dead, and the real professionals are slowly but surely, gradually entering the market and buying more and more Bitcoin. What really show, if I look at the Bitcoin chart, this is actually what keeps the Bitcoin a little bit above the 38. 39. It's now around the 39, sideways for a long time. Goes up, goes down, and I don't think it will be very different until the 4th of May. And maybe with some good news and some good, future news, we'll see again the ball. That's Bitcoin. What's also interesting is that we talked about last week, Vincent. Bitcoin has a very high correlation with Nasdaq, and we see that here. I actually added the Nasdaq chart, and you can see it wasn't like that before. So if you look at the last year or 1.5 years, Bitcoin was up, Nasdaq was doing okay. The Nasdaq was up, Bitcoin was down. But since the beginning of the year, and mainly since February, there's a very high correlation of Nasdaq. So we are in the hands of the Fed. The Fed increase pricing, Nasdaq goes down, and then the crypto goes down. And again, it's the story is not the crypto now. The story is really good, the US economy and the rest of what we talked about. We also see that another factor very interesting is the DXY, and DXY is let me just take this one, and the DXY is the dollar, is an index of the dollar, and the dollar is very, very strong. It actually has just hit a resistance, so it says it hasn't been as high.
Yeah, you see that the interest rate is increasing in America, so people tend to sell euros and go to dollars, but it's going quite it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot.
It's actually moved the resistance. Yeah, it's going up. It maybe even go higher because I see that just broke out the resistance. So that usually when the dollar is strong, Bitcoin is weak.
Yeah. Okay.
That's another indication.
And is it? Yeah. So it's now $1.05, the euro. So from an all-time high of 115, it's now 105. So it's getting it's going very close to parity, and that's also because our interest rate is still very low. It's just amazing. It's really amazing that you can, at the moment, you have 10% inflation, compared to last year. And the total interest you pay for a mortgage is like 2.5%. It's just like just for free. I mean, you just basically buy a house, and the value of the loan goes down with 10% a year, and you only pay 2.5% interest for that. It's ridiculous.
That may change though, because even here in the US, in Europe, we're expecting to see increasing rates, and then the mortgage will go up as well. Another indication, very important, very related and correlated to the war, commodity pricing are not going down. They're also a little bit sideways since the beginning of the war, somewhere around March, going up, going down. We need to see them going down dramatically in order to talk about better economic environment, and they're not going down right now.
Yeah,
so,
it's interesting. It's interesting if you look at April in 2020, you see how low it was, -40, -50%. At that, and then now it's going up. I looked at the price of containers in April last year. The price of containers was like $500, and then in the beginning of 2000, it was $1,500 to ship from China to here. At the moment, it's $15,000 to ship a container, and it takes forever and to get there, because there's huge amount of boats waiting. So and now we have 350 million people in China being locked down, and the Shanghai harbor is at half capacity. So we're going to get a lot more problems. Okay, so this is all extremely positive news about the economy and about the dollar and about commodity pricing.
And just to start a little bit on positive note, and the same time, we keep on seeing a lot of adoption of crypto, of a lot of institutions, a lot of companies, a lot of news from countries that are adopting a crypto either as a tax payment, or if it's a legal tender. We saw this week one of the country in Africa. So this is, I think, the biggest news of this week by far, maybe the biggest news of this year. Fidelity is the biggest pension funds in the US, with 2.7 trillion in assets, and now they are allowing the people who are using those funds to buy up to 20% Bitcoin in these funds, which is used. And of course, MicroStrategy was the first company that is doing that. There was some calculation of a YouTuber guy. Do you want to show what he was talking about, Vincent, or should I talk about that? Yeah, let's see what he's talking about. Yeah,
I thought this was really interesting. So this guy says, okay, if you have 20%, because they have $54 trillion in pension. So if 2% of that is invested in Bitcoin, that would be 45 trillion. And that if there's a multiplier of 21, he says, if you put money into the market, the price goes up a factor of 21. I don't know where that comes from, but that would mean that it would add $1 trillion to the market cap of Bitcoin, which is $81,000 extra per Bitcoin. So yeah, it's wonderful. But I do not have any idea. I mean, I believe that 2%, it will take 5 years before 10 years before the total amount of money which is in those pension funds is if before 2% is moved, because it's huge amount. And I also don't know if they are really going to buy real Bitcoin or if they just have a tracker. We will see about that. But it is a nice calculation. It shows you how few Bitcoins there are. And if everybody just invests a little bit of their pension in Bitcoin, and if all the millionaires which are on the world, if they would just buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin, the price would go up to $500,000, because there is absolutely no market. So thank you very much for this positive, beautiful news. Any more positive news, Idan?
Yeah, no, I think another thing about Fidelity we should remember, everyone's waiting for an ETF. A Bitcoin ETF in the US is being approved all around the world in different countries, in Canada, Australia, etc. It hasn't been approved in the US, and everyone's waiting for it. I think the Fidelity move makes it also a bit closer to have by the end of the year and Bitcoin ETF in the US, which again will be a huge, thing for the crypto and Bitcoin community.
Yeah, endlessly. On the other hand, they also they might approve it, and they also might just forbid all the stable coins, and then the whole market will go down the hill. We'll see about that. Okay, I saw that you had something of Goldman Sachs, which really wasn't that very positive about the crypto market, but now now you can use Bitcoin as collateral. So that's interesting.
I thought it was a good news. Goldman Sachs indeed very, very negative, a very, not seeing the Bitcoin or the crypto.
I'm going to fire everybody. I'm going to fire everybody who does anything with Bitcoin. I think I remember the CEO saying that.
And this week they allowed the first borrower to use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, of course, as collateral to borrow money. So I think it shows how the crypto becomes more and more mainstream. And while we're in a huge turbulence world, Bitcoins and the crypto are, going more and more into mainstream.
Yeah. And is it known what percentage? Did they get 50% on the dollar as in the collateral? Is it clear so that if you have $100 million in Bitcoin, can you borrow 50 million, or can you borrow 80 million, or is it? Do you have any idea, or is it not that they don't publish that? Okay, good.
I didn't read
that. Okay. Now, I always love it, Idan, because you always come with positive news. So let's see here. We have Finland set to donate Bitcoin seized from criminals to the Ukraine. Okay, so they seize a lot of money from criminals. I see.
They said some like, I think about 78 million. It's somewhere in the article, and they decided to donate that. There was a lot of criticism about the crypto world and about Bitcoin that being used for whitewash and for drugs and criminals. And look, this making something negative positive, and I like it, because they captured, they confiscate the money, the crypto money, and now they're doing something good with it, and that's great.
Yeah.
And at the end of the article, it's actually written that Ottawa in Canada actually will do the same. So no, I see it. I think it's very funny news and very good news and very good PR for the crypto if more countries will do that.
Yeah. Okay, then let's talk a little bit about what I saw here in the Dutch financial paper. And it says it's something we talked about it, I think, 4 weeks ago, Idan, when we talked about the stable coins, because, the authorities in the US are really after stable coins. They're actually the majority of the volume in the crypto market. A lot of people go to USDT or this or that, or BUSD, and they basically go to stable coins to base in between. And it's the biggest amount of the market, and it's also the biggest worry of the authorities. And so now the Financial Dagblad Times of the Netherlands had a big article that after Tether, who has been under criticism but still keeps on going strong. Everybody's criticizing them, but you don't see it in any way, shape, or form in the daily operations. But now It is Terra USD or UST. Is a new time bomb. And you looked into that a couple of weeks ago, and now the normal press is writing about it. What's your take on that, Idan?
First of all, it's good news that the new price. That means that this UST stablecoin of Terra, backed by Terra Luna, is making good moves. I mean, now we can see the price has been increased in Luna in the last couple of months. Now it's a little bit down. It's the highest growing stablecoin in the industry since the beginning of the year. And they are backed by cryptocurrency and by algorithm. And the biggest news that they had in the last couple of weeks is that they bought, the biggest Bitcoin hodlers at the moment. So they're backing their reserves, the first company that they've reserved in Bitcoin. And that's very
interesting. And they went up a factor of 4, 4 times in a couple of months. And you know why? Because if you basically buy Terra, you get 20%. You get 20% interest. 20% interest.
So Terra has on their protocol, there's an application, and in that application there's a saving application that you can just put some Luna. And you put UST, you put the stable coin, and you get 20% yearly return. That's going to go down, and that's one of the reasons. And they announced that. That's one of the reasons that the Luna price is going down as well. But that was a good marketing thing to get so many users to buy the UST.
Everybody went into Luna because, hey, 20% interest.
Yeah. And then they bought Bitcoin in order to back their coin, and that was a brilliant move of Do Kwon, which is the CEO of Luna. I think when you have this kind of publicity, it's okay, but it also means that they're doing the right steps.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Wouter, are you into Luna? What is your? Do you have a portfolio of investments, and what is your favorite coin?
Well,
do you have Luna?
I did some investment. I don't have Luna. But I try to buy when there's blood in the streets. But those streets have been filled with blood for the last few months. So I've bought a lot of different coins, but I'm most fan of Ethereum. So I'm hoping, especially if the NFT market is going a little bit better. It's going better if you compare it to last month, though, because the market was a bit down, but the total sales increased by 32% this month. So it's going a bit better. So I've invested something in Ethereum mostly.
Yeah. Well, and of course, Ethereum, I mean, it's the majority of all the, is the big engine of NFT. Even though it's really expensive, and it's very slow in number of transactions, and they are proof of work. But
yeah,
I saw Validi Butelik last week in Holland, in Amsterdam. I saw him there. I have actually on my site, I have an interview with him or basically a presentation of him for about half an hour. So he basically talks.
Vitalik Buterin.
Vitalik.
Buterin.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So let me.
They are quite confident
show you that.
to make. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Vincent. Go on.
Go ahead.
But they are trying to make the switch to proof of stake, right? They are working on that, right?
Yes. Yeah, he opened up and he was opening up a nice, how do you say that? A competition for all kinds of application. And he basically talked about going to proof of stake, and he says it's really going to happen, and all the miners know it, and they're not going to stop this anyway. We're doing the last checks on that. And then he also talks about increasing the amount of transactions per second, and also about the second layer and about NFTs. And it's a really nice interview. I thought it was wonderful. This guy, he hackathon. It was a hackathon which this guy organized from the Ethereum Foundation. So I can I'll join. I'll share this link in the chat, so you guys can basically take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they will be able to make the switch this year, because they have been telling it for a few years. But experts from the industry, they are pretty confident. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay, so before we move to the next subject, which is of course NFTs. We're going to do a little bit of going to look at this thing for 1 second. Another last positive news, which Idan put in there, and I thought this was nice. 80% of institutional investors expect crypto to overtake traditional investments, survey shows. How do you find all that possible? This incredible positive news, Idan?
I'm looking only for positive news to be able to sleep well at night, Vincent. So I'm really searching for all that. First, I must say, this is a trading platform, Bitstamp, that made this survey. So it's not Gardner or any one of those, McKinsey. So we need to take it also in a grain of salt. But if I look at the number of people they talked with, you see it upstairs, we're looking at about more than 5,550, if you can share it again, 5,550 investors. So I kind of thought this is pretty reliable to talk about, and most of them believe that the crypto trading and investment will take over in the coming years. It's going to take some time, but they believe that it will happen. 80% of institutional investors report that crypto will overtake traditional investor vehicle, and we know it's easy to trade, and we know once the regulation kicks in, there will be a lot more volume and a lot more money getting into crypto. So that's positive. The adoption doesn't stop. I mean, only the regulation needs to occur, and we know there are plans for that as well. And the market, the market should recover, the overall market.
Okay, let's go quickly because I want to go to NFT. You had one last thing, and that was the New York State Assembly doesn't allow Bitcoin mining anymore as long as they're using non-renewable power. I mean, last week we talked about the European Community. The Parliament just had they nearly adopted laws that you could not use Bitcoin anymore, or any coin which is based on proof of stake, proof of work, and only proof of stake is allowed. But that didn't pass. But New York is making some things about that. So I think that is this proof of work. That will be very difficult for the how do you say that, for the Bitcoin people. I saw also an interview with Elon Musk, who said that he thought that it should be it would be important to go to proof of stake instead of proof of work.
I don't think if that happens, actually, I am convinced that will not happen. But I am convinced that will happen, and that's the first step. And that's what I thought it's interesting, is that miners will have to find free carbon ways to use the energy. And that's the first time. So the current miners are still able to do that with carbon, but the new ones will have to, it needs to be climate friendly. And that's what we'll see in the US and hopefully in the rest of the world. Proof of work is likely to stay.
Okay, thank you, Idan. We're going to talk about NFT after this, but first we're going to have you a commercial message of who the hell is Diamond Picks, because we want to basically tell you about that for 1 second. At least when my sorry about that. That did not work. How do I share this? My beautiful thing. Okay, I'm going to do it later at the end. We're going to at the end. We're going to have a little. Talk about who the hell is Diamond Picks and what do we do. So I'm going to go to outtake.io. And Wouter, you've been very patient.
Yeah.
You've been working very hard. You started Outtake with 3 people. Who are these other 2 colleagues of yours?
Yeah, on my left side it's Lamar Bakhtiar. and he did 2 masters in law. He's more on the financial side, but also the legal side. And on my right side, it's Tatluat Nguyen, and he did a bachelor and a master's in computer science at the TU in Delft. But he also had experience with building a marketplace. So he did a sort of startup program at the TU Delft, and he also did a specialization in cybersecurity. So that's when we started. We first, it's quite a funny story.
How do you know each other?
Well, that's I literally met Lamar on a birthday of someone, and we started talking about crypto. And then he told me he once wanted to launch his own crypto coin, and yeah, we started talking about NFT, and he had interest and affinity with NFTs as well. So yeah, that's when we said, okay, let's plan a call tomorrow and see if we can extend this project together, because I had already built the website for Altec.io, so just the applications were open so that artists were able to apply. And I already had some applications from the Benelux. Maybe that's also nice to tell. We are a regionally focused platform for artists and collectors for the Benelux. But mainly for the artist side, we are focusing on the Benelux, that they have a regionally focused platform where they can easily come together at events. And in addition, we also have our platform in the Dutch language, but also in the English language. And we have, to make it a bit more understandable, but also more accessible, we have a partnership with BTC Direct, which is a Dutch crypto exchange. And that gives us the possibility to implement several payment methods. So for example, Ideal, it's the most used payment method in the Netherlands. 62% of all the transactions in the Netherlands go through Ideal. So people are able to buy Ethereum directly on our platform with Ideal. So it makes it much easier for people to invest in NFTs.
That would be nice. Let's talk a little bit about first, before we move into your company, let's look a little bit at the platform, at NFT. I mean, people heard about NFTs, that it's going up. You know, it went up 21,000% last year. So it went from a couple of 100 million to 17 billion in 2021. So that is that is growing insanely fast. So I think that is really interesting. And on the other hand, of course, it is we all want to know what you can do with it. But first, how do you explain NFTs? What is a non-fungible token?
Well, really easy said. You can apply you can apply ownership to a digital asset. So it's a kind of certificate of authentication. That's how you can see it. So beforehand, people were using copyrights or a watermark, for example, but that was not always working really well. And now with this NFT, people can truly have ownership of a digital asset.
Well, one thing you say is a proof of authenticity. That's one thing. And then the other thing you say is ownership. You know, that is, and I go like, okay, ownership, I immediately think of, some state guaranteeing and the laws which are supporting it. But that is that I thought was interesting on your websites, that you try to explain that offering rights, proof of ownership, authenticity. You know, that's all very much up in the air, right? I mean, if I have if I buy on your platform some kind of an digital asset, some kind of a design. How can what is the relationship between offering rights and economic rights and ownership rights?
You still don't have the copyright. The copyright is always for the artist. So, and I think it's quite similar to physical artwork. So you are able, if you buy a frame, you can showcase the NFTs in your house, but it's not that you are able to make prints of it and sell it to anyone. So the copyright is still at the artist.
So you cannot make prints, you cannot resell it, or if somebody else is using your picture, which you just bought, the digital design, and somebody else is putting it on his website. Can I send them a bill just like I can do with photographs?
Yeah, just like I just told you, I think it's a bit similar to physical artwork. So if you, but the thing is, they obtain ownership of the digital asset. So that's exactly what you get with the NFT. So people are still, of course, able to make a screenshot of it and send it to everyone, but it doesn't make them the real owner. So that's the thing with the NFT. So you can see it like this. If you, for example, you got a wife, and everyone from your town is sleeping with your wife. It doesn't mean it's their wife, right? Because you were the one who married her and put a ring on it. So that ring.
What a scary way to explain. But yeah, it's
no,
it's really,
but same with physical artwork. You have like whole villages in China right now which are copying artworks from big artists from the Netherlands, and it doesn't make it the right one because there's only one with the right signature, right? So I think you can see it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't have economic ownership, and you don't have the rights you don't have copyright, so you cannot, if other people are using it, you cannot go to the judge and say, hey, please find this guy because he's basically using my artwork. So it's a very limited amount of ownership.
Yeah, that's true, but you're not wearing a fake Rolex, right? So of course you can say someone has a Bored Ape, you can get the same Bored Ape and put it on your own profile, but that doesn't make it your Bored Ape. So you are pretending to have something, but it's not yours. So
yeah. Okay, let's see. Can you show us a little bit how big the market is? Because it was 21 billion the value. Could you, there's this website, these stats, could you share your screen and basically show us how big that market is? Because one of the interesting thing is that if all these pieces of NFTs are resold, the original owner, the original artist is getting in there. So if you can share your screen.
Yeah, I will share my screen for a second.
Yeah, and we can see that. So this is NFT stats. So that's a website where you can follow everything. And we can show it a little bit live.
So I took one NFT marketplace as an example. This is Known Origin. I think they are quite similar to what we are doing. They are also set digital art, and they also are a curated platform. So artists first have to apply, and when the curators think an artwork is good enough, they get accepted on the platform. So here you can see what the total sales for the last 7 days. So they sold 55 NFTs. The total trading volume was 109K, and the average price of an artwork was $1,900. Yeah, almost $2,000 dollars. So we can. I think Super Rare was also in the studio once. The CEO of Super Rare at Diamond Picks. So maybe it's nice if we take a look at Super Rare as well.
So these guys had the previous one had a total of 120,000 sales in the last 7 days. Yeah,
exactly. And as you can see here, Known Origin is doing a bit better than Super Rare at the moment. Super Rare only has one-on-one artwork, so that means they only sell one edition of an artwork, and Known Origin does up to 200, I think. Yeah, I think they changed it about a month ago to 200. So that's also a big difference if you look at the marketplaces. But these are both curated NFT marketplaces.
Yeah, and they're a little bit more expensive. The 3,451.
Exactly.
And can you then see these are all? This is the primary market. This is the artist which is selling it through the platform to the first owner. The secondary market you cannot see here.
I'm not sure actually. I think it was possible to see the secondary market as well.
Oh yeah, maybe we can look at one. Maybe you can go to the number one piece of thing which.
Yeah, maybe it's not, or to different collections. Maybe it's nice to take a look at the Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example.
Yeah, Because the interesting thing about this is that after it's being sold and resold, you can those statistics are open, and the artist gets 10% or 15% or depending on it. So that's
so
interesting for the artist. Yeah.
Yeah. So on OpenSea, for example, I know that the Bored Ape Yacht Club has royalties set on 10%. So every time an ape gets resold, they get 10% of the selling price. And I think one of the best sales of the Bored Apes were around $24 million. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at the price. 400,000 is the average price of a Bored Ape being sold. It's just like unbelievable.
Exactly.
And it's not the amount of number, just 111, but the total volume is $47 million. Amazing.
Yeah, and I think what was it? 10. Actually, my intern just told me that Joseph Klibanski, he just bought a Bored Ape and a mutant ape last week. So I think he paid around $500,000 for those. So it's a crazy market.
Wait a second. Your internship bought a Bored Ape?
No, my marketing intern just told me that Joseph Klibanski, the artist from the Netherlands, he just bought a Bored Ape this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's of course about these collections. I see NFTs as two different kind of NFTs. You, on one hand, you really have the art, and on the other hand, you have NFTs with utilities. So, for example, if you buy a Bored Ape, you can go to exclusive yacht parties. You are able to come in a community with a lot of celebrities like Paris Hilton, Justin Bieber, Martin Garrix from the Netherlands. So that's the thing with NFTs. You have the real authentic artworks, and on the other hand, you have the NFTs that are combined with utility.
Wouter, can I ask a question? So everyone, a lot of people are talking about community tokens as the new thing. And now basically what you're saying is that the NFTs will be the new token, community tokens, actually, and you don't need the chill and the other community tokens specifically for that, because the NFT will be the one. Can you a little bit elaborate on that, and how's that you see it's going to develop?
Well, especially if you look at the community-based NFTs, I think 95% of all the communities out there will fill in the upcoming year, because, well, there are so many projects out there, and you see the whole zoo is passing by with different kind of NFTs and strange animals. But we've already seen in the past that there are many projects. It's really hard to keep up the community for maybe 10 or 20 years. So what we are seeing now is that sort of some of the projects that have been launched last year, they were doing really well in the beginning, and there was a strong community. But now, after a while, it's going dead. So hopefully, there will be some great projects that will last a bit longer.
So the NFT are only the beginning, but then on top of it, you need to keep on creating values for the community in order to keep on living and even expanding. So that's an interesting.
Exactly. So if you are not selling real artworks, you have to build such a strong community, otherwise it's going to fail.
Yeah, let's take a look at the ones you're talking about, and that is the artists, and that's I think you want to focus on. So this is a slide of the market size which you think you can reach. The 22 billion euro, the total market share. That is the what is that? Is that this year or last year?
This was in 2021. So the total market size was 22 billion. So Morgan Stanley.
But that's a different kind of report, right? Because we just had a different report which said it was 17 billion, but here there's a market which says it's 22 billion. That's just question of definition or measurements, or it's just what it is. Okay.
I think this is what I got from the Forbes, but the forecast is actually from Morgan Stanley. And they forecasted the total market size around 200 billion in 2026. But that's and they are forecasting about. So we took about 5%. If you look at the crypto market, it's about. You just told me it's 6%, right, in the Benelux. So we are hoping to get around 10% of that market in 2026, but the market still has to grow because there are so many industries which are not in NFTs yet, but really have potential. So, yeah.
Okay. 204 billion. And then the market share in the Benelux is always 6%, so 5% is conservative, and you think you can do 10% of that.
That's our goal.
That's your goal. And then that is in 2000. What year is this? In 5 years from now, a little bit less than 5 years. Wow. $1 billion, and that is yearly trade. That's the yearly trade.
Yeah, that's the yearly trade. That's correct.
But I mean, that's not. I mean, that might be the NFT market, but or is that also the artwork market?
This is on the whole NFT market. So
yeah,
we also took into consideration that the market still has to grow, and maybe in the near future we are looking at different possibilities with NFTs as well. So we have been talking with sports, but also with ticketing. So yeah, there are a lot of opportunities, but I think especially if you look at ticketing, for example, it's not ready yet because of the high gas fees. So if you look at Ethereum, it's still built on proof of work. I'm sorry. So if you would provide a ticketing service, it's not really interesting because you are paying around $50 to sometimes $100 only for gas fees.
Yeah. And the OFIC is also based on Ethereum. Are you going to implement layer 2? Because if you do layer 2, all these problems go away.
Yeah, that's correct. We decided to start with Ethereum because 80% of all the NFTs now are stored on Ethereum.
Sure.
But we are definitely looking at layer 2, but also at other chains like Tezos, because we have been spoken to a lot of artists from the Netherlands, and they told us that they really like the Tezos platform for the Tezos blockchain for art, because the artworks should be really nice there. So and we also have been looking at Polygon. So first we are going to launch with Ethereum, and after that we are going to implement other layers.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, the 204 billion is the whole NFT market. That's not only the art market.
That's correct.
And so, how big is the art market of that 22 billion? Is that 10% or 20% or which? Because I cannot imagine, the art market I don't know how big the art market is in the Benelux at the moment, but $1 billion sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, the 22 billion where we started with, that was mostly the art market. So that's the one we took over there.
Really? Okay. Okay, well, that sounds like a nice, incredible, challenging plan, but it's really, really interesting. I talked to the guys from Super Rare, or not the guy from Super Rare about nine months ago, and he basically it's interesting to see how I will not go, but we looked at an artist, and he was really interested. And he basically said it's incredible that you have a lot of artists which want to get into the platform, but only a few of them get accepted. So how are you going to do that in your platform?
Yeah, we are a curated platform as well. So same like Super Rare, we have people or artists first have to apply on our platform, and then our curator is going to take a look at their artworks. So, for example, they look at their track record, but they also look at the cultural relevance. They look at the quality of the artworks. So those are the things they are going to look at. So we have three curators right now, and we are going to start with around 25 artists. So we start quite small, but it's also the alpha version is going live by the end of May. So first, of course, when you start a NFT marketplace, you have a sort of testing period, and after the testing period, we will have or more artists are able to mint NFTs on our platform. But we are going to start with a small amount of artists.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how does the business model work? You have artists; they basically put in art. Do they choose the prices themselves, or are there guidelines? How does it? How do you do that? And what percentage goes to the platform? And some other details. Can you tell us how that works?
That's a good question. So on the primary sale, 10% goes to the Altic platform, and 90% is for the artist. So if you compare us to Super Rare, I think there they have 15% on the primary sale. So we chose a bit of competitive pricing if you look at the Super Rare and on Origin. In addition, on the secondary market, 3% goes to the Altic platform. And
okay,
we have royalties up to 12.5%.
Oh, and what is the royalties? What does that mean?
The royalties from the
the royalties for the artist, the royalties
yeah.
for the secondary market. Okay,
exactly.
And the artist basically this 2020 this 2222 that is determined by the artist, or is that also is it in joint pricing model?
No, that's correct. That's determined by the artist. So the artists, when they are minting the NFT, they can set their own price. So we have a fixed offer, we have an auction, or a best offer. So people have 3 options to choose from.
Yeah. Let me see. I can better put it in English. That's interesting.
Yeah, we have it in English and in Dutch. We also have a dark mode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is maybe also a nice thing to tell. What we were seeing, especially in the Netherlands, but I think it's still in the whole market. People are not familiar yet with NFTs, and they find it quite difficult how to set up a MetaMask wallet and things like that. So this is our Altic Learn module, and we're trying to create an environment where people can easily start in the NFT space. So that's why we have a lot of blogs and also some instructions videos how to start with MetaMask, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And our legal department, of course, did something about the copyrights.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, because I thought this was interesting that you started to talk about this. I buy this piece of work, this artwork on your platform, and then the artist sells it also on different platforms. What happens then?
Nothing happens. That's absolutely possible, but we are telling the artist that it's better not to do that, because you can imagine if you're selling an artwork on the Altic platform and you're selling exactly the same artwork on Super Rare, the value is decreasing. So especially if you look at NFTs, where a community is so important, your community will not trust you anymore and they won't buy again. So of course we can say that they are not able to do it, but we strongly discourage to do this.
Okay.
And if you look at other platforms, they are doing the same. So we don't have any contract with the artist that they are only able to launch a collection on our platform. But we strongly recommend to choose one platform every time you launch a collection.
Yeah. Then you have an exclusive right to use to use it commercially. What does that mean?
Yeah, you are, for example, able to, if you have a Twitter or Instagram, you can change your profile picture to, for example, a Bored Ape, and then you are using it commercially.
Yeah. Okay, but so they're not allowed. Artists are not allowed to sell other digital works or NFT if the identical work has been sold or offered for sale. But they are. You say you don't encourage it, but they are, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and also the artists have an exclusive right to use the artwork commercially. So they, even after they've been sold on the Altic marketplace, the artists can still do whatever they want with their artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. They can sell it on another platform as well, but as I just
But
said,
also
we
they can,
strongly discourage it.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But
but when
they,
the artwork is sold, they can, if they have a one-on-one, that you can resell it on a different platform, but they cannot sell the same artwork on another platform.
yeah. Okay, so it's actually quite a limited. Why is it so incredibly popular, and why do people actually pay on these platforms more for the artwork than if they would just buy the original piece from the artist itself? I mean, it looks like you have limited rights, but still people buy it and they increase in value. What is your explanation for that?
Well, yeah, I think this is really the first time that people can apply ownership to a digital asset. So I've spoken to a lot of photographers, for example, who were not able to make any money with their photos, but now, because of NFTs, they are able to do it because they have that little code on the blockchain which says this picture is theirs. So I think that's the whole thing with NFTs. It's a sort of, I think you can see it as a digital signature, and I think that's the reason why it's working so well.
Yeah, it works really well. Okay. Any other parts of the website you want to show us, which is interesting, or
Well, I
I
think
thought
it's
it was.
most
I thought it
important
was good.
to
I thought it was good that you did education. It's important to do to show people what it's all about.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more things are coming soon. So I would say take a look at our socials, and we will announce when our platform is live really soon. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, the how many people are working on creating the platform at the moment? How many programmers do you have?
we now have 7 programmers. Some of them are working in the Netherlands, but also some of them are working
Of
remotely.
course,
Yeah,
of course, they're working all
yeah.
over the place. I can remember. How do you fund your company?
Through angel investors now. So we have around 6 angel investors, and we closed the first round, and we are working towards the MVP now. And
Mhm.
after the MVP, we are interested to talk with venture capitals as well.
Okay, how much funding have you had to until now?
We raised almost 300K. So,
Not bad, not bad for free. And this is the first platform you create together, right? So it shows how
yeah,
much interest there is in this market. So you're going to launch.
absolutely.
What are you going to do on marketing? How are you going to, except for showing up for interviews on radio and places like
Yeah.
this? How are you going to make this known in the industry and in the artist community and
Yeah,
the
we
people who
work
buy art?
mainly on PR right now,
Hmm.
but we are mainly focusing on Twitter right now because we are seeing that this is important, the most important in the NFT community, but also Discord. So we are having a lot of like, win, and share actions on Twitter, but also some kind of loyalty program which we are working on for artists and for the collector. So if they are selling a lot of our platform, they are getting NFTs for it, for instance, or they can win a certain amount of Ethereum. So things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's. I think it's a nice. It's going to be a very nice project, and I wish you a lot of success. Any more questions, Idan?
I think it was a very interesting interview. Thank you very much, Wouter, for joining us today.
Yeah. And
Thank you
Idan,
very much
are
for
you investing?
inviting me.
Yeah, you're one of the investors, Idan, on in Diamond Peaks. What do you what do you think of NFTs? Are we investing in it too?
Now we're investing in platforms that accommodate NFTs. So we are at this stage we are investing in a little bit bigger assets, L1 protocols, some L2. You mentioned Polygon. Some of our funds they have that, but we are mainly into platforms like Solana and Avalanche and Luna, and of course they all offering the platform for applications the platforms that are offering NFTs. So it's all related to each other. But at this stage, we're not investing in that.
Yeah, well, you're doing the underlying platforms. Okay, so that's for the time being. That is NFT. Idan, you're working very hard to make the whole investment strategies more intelligent, and you're making robots and working together with the robots and the bots. Could you maybe share with us? I think you have some news for the people who are investing in Diamond Picks. How the new platform and how the new strategies are working.
So we have implemented since a few weeks. We've implemented one of our strategies, Duroc. We've implemented a market sentiment strategy, and that is a strategy that mainly right now sits in BUSD. And I could share that, but I actually want to share something else. We are also now this week started integrating. Embedding some algorithm to our trading funds, and this is the Genoa one. I just want to show you an example of how these funds will perform in March if we had implemented those algorithms, and you could see how when it goes long and when it goes out, and then it goes long again and out, and that's we're optimizing right now those algorithms to make sure that every coin in our funds will step in on the lowest moment and will step out on the highest moment. And as you can see in March, even in February, the results are very promising. So slowly but surely, we're implementing right now that in Genoa. And let's see what's happening in the coming weeks with that. But this is the swing method strategy, and
Can you zoom in a little bit? Can you zoom in a little bit on that so that we have an idea and you can see here. You can see here is this what kind of coin are you using here?
No, that's the Bitcoin or the 4-hour candle, and I don't know why, but I have some issues to zoom in, Vincent. I'm not sure why. I need to solve that. But you can see when you go long is when he gets into position, a long position. And when he goes on exit, he goes out of the position. So basically, he uses this bot is using many parameters from the past in order to decide when to step in and when to step out. And because we have now backtested this for a few weeks and we are very impressed with the results, we have also decided to add another strategy, which is Bitcoin only, that only will do that. We are testing that strategy now, and we see the coming weeks that this strategy is working well. We'll add another strategy to our portfolio, Bitcoin only, that step in and step out based on 4-hour candle and the bots that we have just implemented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that automated trading is the future, or is it a human being with a robot, or is it what do you think will work in the end?
So I think it's a combination, right? I mean, this is a crazy market. Crypto is a crazy market, but all over in every trading, 95% of all the traders are using bots. I think in the crypto market, if you either use an index and you just let it go for the coming 5 years and you see, okay, that's fine, and then you choose really fundamentally the right coins and you don't look at it for the coming years, that's one thing. Then you need human people who will do the right analysis and will do the right risk assessment and will choose a good basket of coins. If you go into trading, whether it's a swing method, whether it's a market sentiment, you have to have a bot. You have to, because your human being cannot do the analysis that this bot is doing. But still, you need to choose the coins, and you need to be able to overrule the bot if you don't think that the bot is performing as you expect it to. So yeah, it's a combination. But in trading, active trading funds or strategies, the algorithm is 90% of is doing its work, and 10% is the human being.
Okay. Alrighty. So, well, if you guys are interested in joining Diamond Picks, let me tell you in about 2 minutes how our company is working, and we'd love to see you there. And in the end, I want to thank Wouter very much for joining us, and also Idan. We're going to see each other next week. So let's listen for about 2 minutes what we're doing.
Next week we're not there,
Bye-bye.
Vincent. Next week we're not there.
And next week we're on vacation, so we're not going to do it out of Cyprus in the US. No, I guess not. So we're going to be away for 1 week, so we'll see each other in 2 weeks. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Bye.
For the last 10 years, cryptocurrency has been the best investment opportunity to date. The most well-known coins are Bitcoin and, of course, Ethereum, but numerous other great digital coins have shown a far better financial return. Many people stick with these two big coins, what's known as hodling, because they simply do not have time to manage it smartly. To achieve optimal financial return with cryptocurrency, you constantly have to monitor the crypto market, be up to date on political and macroeconomic events, as well as the stock market performance. It's a time-consuming exercise and challenging to figure out all by yourself. Diamond Picks has been created to make this unique investment opportunity accessible to you. The easiest and smartest way to invest in the crypto market. We are a group of experienced serial entrepreneurs with extensive backgrounds in the crypto market, finance, online services, and technology, and started a crypto investment fund 4 years ago with an 800% return in the last 2 years. During this time, we've developed a number of unique strategies from which you now can also benefit. You can pick a combination of strategies that suit your profile and goals. These can be focused on sustainability, minimizing risk, fundamental analysis, or focused on sentiment. You get a dashboard where you get clear insights in the results and can always adjust the strategies to whatever your needs are. And the best part is your money always stays in your own digital wallet on the world's biggest crypto bank, Binance. And we do the rest. What do you have to do to join in? Simply register at diamondpicks.com and we'll help you on your way. Minimum investment is $5,000 and the first month is cost-free. This video is for general purposes only and does not contain any financial advice.